in Camden Town. I'll meet you at the underground. In Camden Town, we'll walk there as the sun goes down. In Camden Town.
Welcome to Camdeners, the official podcast for the Camden Clean Air Initiative, with me, Jeffrey Young. In this podcast, we get to know and discover the lives of Camdeners, those special individuals shaping the unique and vibrant culture of the borough of Camden. Today, we're here in the studio with Charlotte Samuel, founder and CEO of Pramstead. Welcome, Charlotte.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. I feel really honored to be invited.
Excellent. Well, you're a pretty important part of the community of Camden. I want you to just give us a little bit of background about yourself. When did you come to the UK, and maybe let's just background yourself and how you got into the borough of Camden.
Yeah, you can probably hear from my accent that I was born in Germany, even though sometimes I get South African, which I take as a compliment. So I was born and raised in Germany, but then lived all over the place. I lived in Italy and Holland and France and in the Caribbean for a very short time frame. So I feel not necessarily strictly German, but very European, certainly. And I came over because of my now British husband in 2011. So I have lived here over 10 years now, had all my 3 children here, and feel very Camden-esque by now.
Yeah. Well, Camden's such a vibrant borough. It's full of, I'm an immigrant from Australia way back, but I've spent more of my life here in the borough of Camden than I have in Australia. So it's a vibrant place with people from all parts of the world, which I find very exciting. And
yeah, it's completely intriguing, actually. And for all the money in the world within London, I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. I find it combines everything exciting about London and challenging and inspiring at the same time. It is very diverse, and I feel as inclusive as can be, and it offers so many different things from the greenery around to just diversity, not only in people, but also in the places that you can walk along the canal and you can get lost in the park or on the heath. You can go for a swim in the ponds, but you can stroll over Camden Market or more lesser known side streets with their own little shops and independent businesses. And the people are obviously what makes Camden, and are absolutely fascinating. And it's really interesting to listen to all different kinds of stories and meet different kinds of people, as you have in this podcast as well.
Well, I've enjoyed most of that, except I haven't yet had a swim in the ponds yet.
Yeah. I definitely want to go on the checklist. Yeah, it's
Maybe.
Wonderful. Yeah. My kids now nudge me as well to go with me, and I think you have to be 8 to do it. So last summer I took my now 10-year-old, and this summer my now 8-year-old already said, we have to go.
Excellent. Well, I must
it's
take
quite
that
an
plunge,
experience,
as they say.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's when you I prefer going in the morning, but if you're suddenly in the middle of the heath surrounded by greenery in these ponds, and you think like within half an hour you could be walking to Oxford Circus, it's just completely surreal.
Crazy.
Yeah, beautiful.
So you're a mother of 3. Was that the inspiration behind Pramstead?
I think I sort of stumbled into it. So when we moved into the area, I was pregnant with my now 10-year-old, and I was just fascinated by the fact how much there is on offer during pregnancy, but then also after you have given birth to the baby, play groups, baby groups, support for mothers, lots of social events. And I found myself walking around with lots of flyers. And I thought it's impossible that in this day and age, particularly if, like in Camden, you have such an array of offers, what to do, that we don't have one space kind of to find out about what's going on. And also particularly because it was so many very, very dedicated entrepreneurs or community members who offered, for example, childbirth classes or prenatal yoga or postnatal baby groups in all kind of different ways. Some based on music, some just like coffee and tea mornings for new parents. And I found there was so much dedication and passion within these office that it would be a shame if they got lost just because people don't know about them. Mm-hmm. And perhaps particularly because I was new in the country and I didn't have family around, and essentially we were in a very traditional setup, my husband and I, because he leaves very early in the morning to the office. Like, he would be gone by 6:30, and I would be on my own all day with this newborn that you kind of feel like has almost been handed to you. Yeah. It definitely hasn't. Like, I had 28 hours labor. So that's quite an odd thing to state for me. But in a way, you feel like, what do I do now? And I can only speak for myself, but by now I've spoken to a lot of mums, and they seem to have had a similar experience. It can be quite overwhelming to be a new mum, and definitely also very lonely, because you suddenly have this baby or multiple babies and have to look after them, and usually you don't have friends with baby, or often you don't have friends with babies, and you have to kind of imagine yourself or find your way. And it really helps if you go out and about and you do things, and you perhaps you learn or get to know other people and learn about I don't know, different ways you can entertain yourself, you can entertain the baby, and make your way in this, navigate your way in this new life of parenthood. And so sorry, I maybe that was a bit too far-fetched, but I found it would be helpful for the whole community to have a little spot where you can find out what's going on in the area. Amazing. And so I set up Pramstead bit by bit. It took ages because I had children at the same time and no help. So I started setting up this community website and meant for it to kind of support mainly families. And then it developed into something that was also kind of supporting and connecting families and small businesses in the area, because I found that I could kind of support or help both ways. I could help entrepreneurs who offered, for example, classes or offered special teas for young dads or young mums or family get-togethers or different community events, and could write about them on the website. And then I started the social media around it as well to kind of spread the word.
At Pramstead is the handle?
Yeah, it's www.pramstead.com. Yeah. And
Facebook?
It's on Facebook, it's on Instagram and Twitter. So I'm trying to do that on the side a bit.
What about TikTok? Not happening
Not
yet?
TikTok. Maybe I'm too old for TikTok. I haven't quite dared.
Very young mums.
Yeah, I don't think I count as a young mum anymore. Maybe at the beginning, not now. But it also all takes a lot of time. So even to post separately on Twitter and Instagram takes a lot of time. So I feel like maybe I shouldn't attempt TikTok and just leave it to younger, cooler people.
Yeah, or whatever's coming after TikTok. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. Wait for something else.
Yeah. So you must be quite an enriching, personally satisfying, choice that you've made because you must have so much impact within the community. What do you feel you've learned through this process?
Oh, I definitely learned a lot, and feel I am still learning. Maybe also because I'm a privileged white person, and I know when I said to you that perhaps I felt quite lonely after giving birth. It's not to say that other people have far more challenging experiences, and lots of people have issues during giving birth or afterwards, or have handicapped children or children with other special needs. So I feel I'm still learning in how I can support people and how I can maybe help the community. But it's in my little bit so far, I feel it's been very rewarding, and it's nice to get feedback. And I feel very enheartened by the fact that I can bring people together and just just connect people. And because I by now know a lot of people and companies and maybe classes or events or institutions.
Yeah.
And that to me is the most rewarding fact, that I can bring them together because they're kind of interested in the same field, or I know that they could click with each other or need each other. And I love that. I love doing that.
And what other resources would you point people listening to in the borough of Camden, maybe for new mothers or parents or families? What are some of the incredible resources that you've stumbled across that provide support and assistance in the borough, or perhaps just human beings, or that you've been inspired by?
I still struggle with resources. That's perhaps one of the reasons I set up Premstead. I feel maybe Camden Council is still trying to find their feet in providing proper information about what's going on, and it's perhaps a bit split. But there's definitely a lot of institutions or companies that I would direct people to, and it would probably start with the local libraries.
Yeah.
Both the Camden Town or Camden Council Library, but also the independently run Primrose Hill Library and Belsize Park Library, and also community centres like the Winch in Belsize Park, who do incredible work and such essential work, because I think particularly for families or children, or also youngsters or teenagers, it's such a haven to have a place outside home to go to hang, to have books if you want to, or to have a play corner for younger children, or for young parents or carers. Sorry, I don't know why I say young. Or same for elderly people and for the whole community. To just have a safe place where you can meet other people, or just do your work, do some quiet work, or do some reading, meet other people if you want to. Join some groups, because they all offer classes or groups as well. So that would definitely be a big one. But also cultural centres like the Jewish Museum in Camden, who offers lots of often free activities on the weekends, and you can make challah or special Jewish cookies or all kinds of things, and obviously learn about the culture and religion. Same as for the JW3, and then you have the Camden Arts Centre.
Lovely as well,
And you have institutions like the Burr House or Keats House.
Burr House, I actually don't know one. Can you tell me about that?
In Hampstead, which is not only a beautiful building and like in the heart of Hampstead, and they have a little charming cafe there, which lots of people don't know, and you can just sit there in the garden, and it's a beautiful little oasis.
Okay.
But they also run regular concerts and activities there, from yoga to being a wedding venue to being the host of lots of children's classes as well.
Great.
And Keats House, for example, runs regular family weekends as well, which are differently themed, and they have a wonderful summer festival. And
that definitely reminds me. Yeah, well,
but also, sorry to go on, Calthorpe Community Gardens and the Skip Garden. Now it's not the Skip Garden anymore, but now it's called the Story Garden, and everything around King's Cross. Corum's Field is more Bloomsbury, but it doesn't stop. There's so many different places, and I'm not always succeeding to extract all their events and activities and put them on Premstead, but I try to, and that's just wonderful. Sometimes I'm just so delighted to just look at the events, because there's so much going on, and important to say, lots of it free. Yeah. So it's not just for. I call the website Premstead. I could have called it Premden as well.
Yeah,
it's not just
that's the next
maybe a spin-off.
Yes,
but it's not just for privileged people who can afford expensive events and classes and activities for the kids. It's for everyone, and that's really key to me. That I highlight lots of events and activities that are completely free and welcome everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. So you've still got a family, a young family.
Yeah.
So presumably time is limited.
Yes.
But you must have some ambitions. What else would you like to achieve with Pramstead?
It's a very good question because so far I felt I could only contribute whatever work fit in between in my quite busy schedule of school runs and the whole madness having 3 children. So I definitely have a lot of ideas and plans still that I would like to incorporate, and I would also like to learn from people who would like to suggest me how to improve certain things or add certain features. But that's also a good thing because so far I could just, with the bit of time that I had in between, do whatever I can, even if it's just a post on Twitter or Instagram to say what's going on this weekend. And I think I would like to elaborate on that and hopefully maybe get some support from Camden as well. Camden Giving, again, that would be amazing because it's also tricky for me to ensure that everything is diverse and inclusive because I get more and more companies, which is lovely, who offer to pay me to distribute the word, basically to spread the word about what's going on or about the events or activities they offer. But at the same time, it's really close to my heart to make sure that everything is balanced and that I also list all the events, like I said before, that are free of charge and that are perhaps a bit more reflective of the diversity of the community. But this is all very time consuming. So I need to kind of find a way to be fair to everyone and everything. But also to myself to kind of manage the timing. So I'm learning every day.
Well, obviously that's you've got, how old's your youngest?
4 now.
Okay, so you've still got quite a long way before you'll be able to 100% focus
really focus,
on that.
Are you ever able to focus 100%? I don't know. You tell me.
It's always a challenge balancing family
everything.
And work and certainly ambition and everything. What do you most love about living in the borough of Camden?
It's hard to start. I don't know where to begin, to be honest. But it must be, in general, still the diversity of both the people and the places or the areas that you have so much greenery. But at the same time, you have the hustle and bustle of Camden Market and the side streets, and you can walk along the canal and end up in King's Cross or go even further, and just the amalgam of all the different cultures and religions and communities, and that you can learn about all of them and kind of engage in such different ways with so many different people.
And if you had to pick one spot, obviously, other than perhaps your home, where it's very spiritual and special to you, what would be your favourite sort of location, if that exists in and around?
Maybe Hampstead Heath.
Hampstead Heath.
Yeah, because of the greenery, and it has the ponds, but also playgrounds for the children. And I feel it's such we're so lucky to have it because it's like a green lung, obviously, of London, and it's for everyone. Whether you're in a wheelchair or whether you're surrounded by little children and you have to keep them safe, or you're an elderly person on crutches, or whatever your background, you can find your spot there. Whether it's a bench or whether you're actually physically active and you go for a run, or or a hike, or you, like we said, you have a nice swim in the ponds. I mean, it's incredible. And you have the Lido there as well, if the ponds are not for you, and the paddling pool for the kids, and not to speak about the amazing views as well if you go higher up. And for us as a family, it has always been, since I think we first had my daughter in the sling as a newborn baby, we hiked over Hampstead Heath and had pub lunch in Highgate. And it's just so special that, I feel it's such a hub.
Wow. Well, thanks so much for joining us here today on
Thank
Camdeners.
you for having me. So special.
Excellent.
And thank you for running these amazing podcasts.
in Camden Town.
And that's all this week for Camdeners.
Town, you can
Camdeners was recorded in Serendipity Studios in Arlington Road for the Camden Clean Air Initiative.
Camden Town, in Camden Town, in Camden Town.